Yavamis, Perek Dalet, Chapter 4, Mishna Zayin, Mishna 7. Okay. Hachayletz Yavimtai. When he performs chalitza on his Yavama, meaning on his sister-in-law, and the wife of his brother who died without children, he did not do Yibam, but he did chalitza. Hareyu ke'echad min ha'achla nachla. He is like any one of the other brothers regarding inheritance. Meaning, essentially, if a person dies without children, then it's his relatives that become his heirs. Now, as we're going to see soon, were one of the brothers to do Yibam, the actual Yibam, then he would be the sole heir of his deceased brother's property. But now that he did not do Yibam, he did Chalitza, there is no mitzvah there. So now we revert back to the halacha that it is the deceased brother's heirs that inherit him. And if there's more than one brother, so, all the brothers divide. The Mishna is saying that the brother who performed Chalitza does not lose out on his portion of the inheritance like any of the other brothers. Why would I think you should? So the explanation that's given is because we're talking about, even if, let's say, we're talking about a brother who did Chalitza, let's say he's the oldest, and he went ahead and he decided he's doing Chalitza, or he went ahead and did Chalitza, even though the other brothers, maybe one of them would have done Yibam. They were ready to do Yibam. And he went ahead and he did Chalitza, which works, and which now takes off any kind of Yibam bond between her and any of the brothers. None of them can marry her now, even just regularly. And we might have thought that perhaps the sages penalized this brother who did Chalitza and prevented anybody else from doing Yibam, that we should now take away his portion of inheritance. And the Mishnah tells us that no, that he retains his regular status as a brother regarding the inheritance. However, v'miyesh sham av, but let's say there's a father there too. Then the halacha is nachasim shalav. The property then belongs to the father, because again, if a person dies without children, without officially starting off without sons, the next in line to inherit is his father before his brothers. So in this case, if there was no Yibam done, and now it's reverting to the regular laws of inheritance, so if there's a father present, he gets everything. If there is no father present, there's only brothers, then they're divided evenly, including the brother who did Chalitza. Now, Ha'koines es Yavimtai. Let's say one of the brothers took in his Yavama. That means he married her. He performed Yibam. Zacha ben Achasim Shalachiv. He now gains all of his dead brother's property. He now takes it over, even if there's a father. He does the Yibam. The Torah says, Yakam al Shem Achiv. He succeeds his brother, which according to this opinion of the Mishnah right now means he succeeds his brother and he takes it ahead of everyone. Takes inheritance ahead of everyone. Not only that, the halacha is that if, let's say, this guy is a bit of a scoundrel and he does Yibam on his sister-in-law and the next day he divorces her, does he have to give up the inheritance? Nope. He did Yibam. He succeeded his brother with Yibam, and it's his. So that's the point when it says that once you do Yibam, you acquire all of the chasim. You become in his place. It's your properties now, no matter what. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Ben kach u ben kach im yesham av nechasim shal av." Rabbi Yehuda goes as far as to interpret the words of the Torah to say that even if there's a brother who did Yibam, but if there's a father that's alive, he gets it first. The same way in the situation of regular inheritance, a father goes before the brothers. According to Yehuda, even when a brother did Yibam, the father goes first. But that's not the halacha. The halacha is that the brother who does Yibam, he takes over all the properties of his deceased brother. Okay, next. If somebody performs chalitza on his sister-in-law, who asa b'krei he becomes forbidden to her close relatives, v'hi asura b'krei and she becomes forbidden to his relatives. That means that all the relatives that become forbidden to a man or to a woman because they married each other, which will even continue, which will even, in many cases, in all cases after divorce continue, or even after death they can continue. The halacha is that all these same prohibitions apply between the man and the woman he did chalitza on. The same if you divorce a woman, all the relatives of hers that became forbidden to you through marriage remain forbidden. We treat chalitza similar to divorce, to say that it's as if you married her and divorced her, and all the relatives that are forbidden through marriage, both on her, both on him, remain. This prohibition of the relatives of a chalutza is a rabbinic prohibition. It's not a Torah prohibition. It's a rabbinic prohibition. Being that it resembles divorce, therefore they said that all the relatives that remain forbidden even after divorce are going to be forbidden after chalitza. So now the Mishnah goes through examples. Hu asar bi'ima, he is forbidden in her mother, uve'emima, her mother's mother, uve'emavia, or her father's mother, just like his wife. Ubebita, her daughter, ubebasbita, or her daughter's daughter, ubebaspina, or her son, or her son's daughter. Ubachais bisman shi kayemes, and her sister, as long as she's alive. The halacha is you're allowed to marry your wife's sister if your wife passes away. If you only divorce her, that doesn't permit you to marry her sister. But when she passes away, then you could marry her sister. So here too, if the chalutza were to die, then you can marry her sister, just like as halacha would be by your wife. V'ha'achin mutarin. But the rest of the brothers are all permissible here. Meaning, they didn't do chalitza. Even though the chalitza affects them, even though the chalitza of one brother removes the yibum bond that all the brothers had on her, nonetheless, this rabbinic prohibition that you become forbidden on the relatives of the woman who you did chalitza on does not apply to the brothers who didn't actually do the chalitza, even though it freed her from them too. Now, v'hi asura ba'aviv, she is forbidden to his father, u'ba'avi aviv, and his father's father. The Mishnah doesn't mention it, but it's actually not only is it his father's father, but his mother's father. She's also forbidden in. Ubivnai, and his son, ubiben benai, or the son of his son, or the son of his daughter. Ba'achiv, his brother, ubiben achiv, and the son of his brother. All these are the same relatives that were forbidden to a woman that you were once married to and divorced. These are now forbidden also in the case of chalitza. Okay, we're going to complete the rest of the Mishnah and Mitzvah on Sunday because there are charts that were very helpful to keep track of the very last line of the very last two cases of the Mishnah, and therefore we're going to hold that for Sunday, Mitzvah. Okay, now the Chofetz Chaim was saying was giving an example or examples of where it is a mitzvah to actually listen to a derogatory statement someone's going to say about someone. There's another example of where it's considered a mitzvah to listen to what he's saying, meaning it's the proper thing to do. You go ahead, somebody comes over to you, he's really upset. He's really upset about what he perceives that someone did to him. And he comes over to you to tell you about it. He comes over to you to unload himself. But he realizes that if he's going to, how he realizes it, maybe he knows a little bit of the background, whatever it may be, he realizes it, that if he's going to let this guy talk, he'll be able to calm him down. If he lets him talk and say out the story, he knows he's going to be able to calm him down. That will prevent him from going ahead and him spreading it to others. And by doing that, peace will be increased amongst the Jewish people. But again, when you are listening, when you are even permitted to listen to the Lashon Hara, you must be very careful not to accept it as fact. You're not allowed to believe it. Take it into consideration. And based on that consideration, you can calm him down. You can deal with how you want to deal with it. You got to make sure that when you're hearing the Lashon Hara, you don't get trapped, you don't get ensnared in the trap of accepting Lashon Hara, which would turn your mitzvah into an avera. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi.